Heads up, people. This is Nick Fury, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've called you here because we have a bit of a situation. As we speak, the supervillain prison known as the Raft is under attack by agents of Hydra.
It's not all the time that a game that came out 3 years ago will grab me and suck away 40 hours of my life in a matter of a few days, but that's exactly what happened with Marvel Heroes. This free-to-play game was officially released on PC in 2013, and I remember playing it. Or trying to play it, that is. On launch, Marvel Heroes was buggy, repetitive, and just really cut down. It didn't feel like a complete game. I can't blame Gazillion and Marvel, though, for wanting to capitalize on the Avengers franchise and overall superhero theme that grows more popular by the year. So here we are, 3 years later, and I can finally say that this game's in a good state. Marvel Heroes is an isometric ARPG with MMO elements. It's essentially a Diablo-style MMO set in the Marvel Universe. The game lends itself to the classic Marvel comics and even dabbles in the themes of the new cinematic universe to attract a very diverse group of players. Marvel Heroes' goal from the beginning was to make the player feel like a superhero and team up with others to save the world. And with a lot of love from the developers and great feedback from the community, it seems that this goal has been reached. So let's get started.
Hell's Kitchen. All I want is for this city to breathe free. Free of corruption. Free of crime. But the streets of this city are crawling with lowlives.
Utilizing the Unreal Engine 3, Marvel Heroes runs smoothly and looks excellent. With over 50 heroes to choose from, there's a considerable amount of diversity in both superpower abilities and looks. Each hero also has costumes to choose from, so you can rock the classic looks from the comic books or take on the appearance of the modern Marvel Cinematic Universe. Each hero also has its own personality, which makes them feel very unique. They all have different voice lines for different situations and will speak to one another based on their history with certain characters. It was really fun to sit in Avengers Tower, which is one of the main hubs in the game, and watch heroes come and go and listen to all of them address each other in passing. It's this MMO part of the game that makes that feeling so unique from other games, but can only be done in the Marvel Universe. I was amazed to see the roster list so large, and then to see how each character was truly different. It makes the replayability of this game very high, as you want to experience all the different playstyles of the heroes. If you're a comic book geek, you're gonna love the presentation of Marvel Heroes, and if you enjoy the modern cinematic universe, this game should impress you.
Nice armor. Let's see how it comes apart.
The gameplay is very much like other Diablo-style ARPGs, where you have abilities to choose from and you can build your own kit to fit your playstyle. You run around, or fly around in some cases, different areas and complete tasks. The interesting part is that everything is open world, except for a few instances and story missions. So you see all the other players in an area, and you can team up with them to beat supervillains. There is a story mode that takes you to all the classic locales of Marvel, like Hell's Kitchen Manhattan, the island of Madripoor, the Savage Lands, and even eventually Asgard itself. This story was longer than I had imagined, but was really fun. It was a great throwback to classic comic books with its cutscenes. However, if you're not big into the story, you can just go on patrol on one of the many maps, and fight bad guys and supervillains. The patrol was one of my favorite parts of this game because there was really something to be said for running around as Iron Man and helping Captain America, Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange take down Curse and Malekith from Midgard. Marvel Heroes is best in those scenarios when it makes you feel like you're taking part in an epic comic book style fight. However, the MMO aspect can hinder the gameplay at times by having to wait for objectives to spawn and miss out on defeating a boss you need for a quest because other people took him out too quickly and you had to run across the whole map to get there. There were several times during the story where I had to complete objectives that other people were also trying to complete, and after reaching the area, I just had to wait around for it to spawn, which really killed my immersion and flow of the game. It made things a little bit frustrating.
Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening, Thor!
But there's not just story and patrols to do. Being 3 years old, this game has had a lot of time to improve itself and add on features to keep its players busy. There's an almost overwhelming amount of stuff to do at the endgame. You can replay any of the boss fights with the terminals on 3 different difficulties, or you can take part in the X-Men Danger Room to earn rewards and test your skills against increasingly harder enemies. You can also take part in a 10-man raid or a 4-man fight against Ultron. There are one-shot stories, defense missions, survival missions, and even PvP. The game is loaded with features, including a robust progression system with an Omega Paragon mechanic, and even superhero synergy bonuses based on all the heroes you've leveled up. It would be hard to go into detail about what each of these are without this video running for over an hour, but you should never be bored in Marvel Heroes, which is a lot to say for a free-to-play game. Speaking of free-to-play, I will mention that I feel like the pay model is pretty generous. You can buy any hero if you want, or you can collect Eternity Splinters, which is an in-game currency that drop at a pretty consistent rate. There's a premium currency as well, called G's, that run for about $1 for 100, and costumes, heroes, and team-ups can cost anywhere from $500 to $1,500. Many of these, though, can just be unlocked with in-game currency, or with some luck from the player. The one thing that I found I needed to purchase was more bank space to store all the items I was receiving. And that's where this game falters a bit. There are way too many currencies and far too many items to track in the game. Again, it would take a long time to talk about each one, but the game did not feel very intuitive, and I found myself having to do a Google search every time a new item dropped. Furthermore, the number of items that dropped was very overwhelming, and after every mission I found myself having to look at each one, comparing stats to see how they stack up against my equipped ones. Some people may like the depth that the item system adds, and others may find it annoying. Having to read walls of text and numbers and percentages to figure out what they should be wearing can be frustrating. I hope that Gazillion takes a look at the inventory system and itemization and simplifies it to help newer players be less overwhelmed in the future.
You have won this battle, but the war goes on.
This really just scratches the surface of what's included in Marvel Heroes, but I suppose I should not be surprised for a 3-year-old game. There has been a lot of work put into this title, and I think that it will only get better from here on out. The community is very helpful, both in-game and on the Reddit, where you will end up when you need to understand one of the many systems in the game. The real question is why would you play this game over something like Diablo? I can say that if you enjoy Diablo and the Marvel Universe, then you will have a blast with this game. I also think that this game offers more replayability than something like Diablo because of all the heroes and different classes you can be. Its diversity of cast, the ability to have a sidekick, and just the overall feeling of saving the world in a comic book style never gets old. I highly recommend this to anyone looking for a nice free-to-play game this year, and I myself will probably be putting in many more hours. I hope you enjoyed my review of Marvel Heroes, and if you did, it would help me out a ton if you liked and shared this video. I may start looking at other games that came out a while ago just to see how they progressed. Either way, thank you so much for watching and have a good day.